Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are ready to start. It's 1 o'clock and I suggest we can start with our today's session. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to the Talentjourney Final conference hosted by Školski Center Nova Gorica. I'm Tjaša Petelin-Bačar and I will be with you for the first part of today's event, together with our guests and speakers. A warm welcome to Mr. João Santos from the European Commission, to Mr. Paweł Krępaski from the European Education and Culture Agency, to Mr. Mati Sokalio, President of the EU Provet, to Mr. Jernej Česen from the Outfit 7 company. Special greetings to our project partners who did a really great job in the last 2 years, to representatives of national institutions, teachers, headmasters, directors of the school centers. Welcome, everyone. Today, we will share with you our insights, results, and recommendations according to the experience gained through the Talentjourney project. Talentjourney is co-financed by the European Union under the Erasmus Programme. In the second part of the conference, we will start with the online awarding ceremony of the International COVE Hackathon. But to begin with, we'd like to share with you a short promo video of our Talentjourney. So, Uroš, please launch the video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed our promo video. And without any further ado, I would like now to give the words to Mr. Miran Saksida, the director of the School Center of Nova Gorica. Please, Miran.
Dear all, so thank you for organization and participation on closing event of Project Talentjourney and today Hackathon. And project collaboration was a very big challenge. We must consider that all project activities were done in the deep COVID situation. We had a lot of different obstacles during past 2 years of this project. Sometimes the challenges were in the field of technology, organization, also financing. We had some legislation and also political problems. Nothing didn't stop our work. We worked hard as individuals, also as co-workers and also as friends. We done all work very responsible. Today we can say that we reached the main goal. We created an ecosystem that benefits learners, teachers, companies, and European society. We all together overcome many obstacles and also sometimes concrete barriers. Without motivation, it would not have been possible to obtain such results, which will be presented today. So I would like to thank you all for excellent collaboration and hard work you have done in past 2 years. The success of this project has given us a competitive edge in field of change and education in Europe. I hope in the near future we will implement these co-results in the educational process of all European countries and also widely in the whole world. We must be prepared and convinced to extend collaboration, maybe in next project call it Talentjourney 2. Thank you all and best wishes for all COEs and hackathons also in the future.
Miran, thank you very much. And now I'm giving the floor to Mr. Mati Sokolio, the president of EU Provet, one of the 6 associations of vocational training and education providers working closely with the European Commission. Mati?
Thank you, Sasha. It's also a pleasure on behalf of myself to have this spot on the welcoming session here. Nice to see you, and I can say that this is a historical event that we are now facing. I have a double role, as Sasha mentioned. I'm president of the EU Provet, one of the European VET Association. Another role is director of Sataedu, one of the partners in Talentjourney. If short look back on the history, we are the first pilot center of excellencies that were introduced, and the mechanism and expectations were really open for this, because we didn't know where we were jumping, and I think there's some English expression that jumping on the deep end, and this really happened with us on this. And also I think Commission was not exact what they were expecting of the Center of Excellencies. So I think we have done a really remarkable job here during this project. Also given very many thoughts and ideas for the Commission for the continuity of the Center of Excellencies, and they are now part of the toolbox what the European Commission is using for the vocational education and training. My first times that I even heard this kind of introduction of Center of Vocational Excellence was by Mr. João Santos. We heard him later today, and also when we were on one of these conferences in Slovenia, let's say that João tested me and Adriana about this idea of Center of Excellencies. Then short jump to Sataedu. We are a grassroots level VET provider in western part of the Finland, a regional VET provider. Talentjourney has really challenged us with, let's say, very high expectations, and now I can say that we survived well. In Finland, VET providers traditionally has a very strong partnership with local enterprises and companies, and we were able to even strengthen these relations in field of IoT oriented companies. Also, Talentjourney, with help of the Talentjourney, it has really upgraded our skills and knowledge in field of technology, especially in automation and robotics. And also use of VR classes will be implemented as ordinary teaching and training in field of technology and other fields later. As I see this Center of Excellencies, key points are networking, mutual trust. And I also see EU Provet as a European VET association, one of the backbones of this network, to help find good partners to make this backbone for the project. And now I mean something totally higher level commitment compared to, let's say, ordinary European projects. And even in application phase, how we made this partnership, prepare application, of course, Adriana made a huge work on that time, and also during this process, sharing knowledge, reaching excellence, and supporting all these innovations that we'll be hearing later. In a policy level, I see that Center of Excellence is a tool to support and encourage reform and modernizing vocational education and training system, of course, depending on the situation on country or region. And we can say that we really are in many steps, different steps in Europe concerning what's happening on vocational education and training. I think also Center of Excellence is a good examples in European level, not only for the ones who are participating, but in policy level, in regional, national, and of course in EU level. And Center of Excellence can be part of the solutions for the huge challenges that we are facing now in EU and globally, climate change, aging of the population. Before conclusions, very warm thanks Adriana, her team, for excellent job done on Talentjourney, and of course thank you for all the partners who has been a part of the Talentjourney. And some key words as a conclusion. I saw Center of Excellence that Center of Excellence are beacons. They are beacons of Commission Web Policy Toolbox. They are beacons of vocational excellence. They are beacons among all web providers, and Center of Excellences are beacons of future problem solvers. And as a final statement, not objective, but totally subjective opinion, Talentjourney is primus inter pares, or if I use this beacon metaphor, beacon of beacons. Thank you. Welcome to this Talentjourney conference.
Matti, thank you very much. Thank you also again to Miran for that. And before going on and giving the words to Ms. Adriana Hodak, the head of Intercompany Training Center, and her presentation, I would ask all the attendees that if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We will try to answer at least one question after each presentations, depending on the schedule, our schedule. If there will be more questions, we will prepare the answers and publish them after the conference. And now, Ms. Adriana Hodak, the driving force of our Talentjourney project. Adriana, please.
Hello from my side as well. Thank you, Matti, for very inspiring words. I hope you can see it. Is sharing? Is shared the presentation? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, dear guests, dear participants, kindly welcome at our Talentjourney Final conference. Talentjourney project, with the full name, the Platform for IoT Vocational Excellence, is a 2-year project co-financed directly from European Commission in Brussels, which ends as a project on the 31st of October this year. But since we consider it as an extremely important initiative to stimulate the very much needed reform of vocational education and training through vocational excellence, and the reform is not that short process, the Talentjourney project is a kind of the first phase of the initiative, which we wish to continue, spread, and upgrade further. Talentjourney represents how do we see the VET provider of the future, how to support the new era lifelong learner on their career journey, how to become agile and respond to the constant needs of the new era industry, society, and environment, how the collaboration with our VET stakeholders can work successfully, and much more. When we started the project, we all knew that we are already a part of huge changes which are happening every single day at home, at work, in our environment. And I still remember when we started to use the trendy word change, but I think that we have started being aware very concretely only then when COVID began. Generation gap, digital natives and their agility, older generations following harder and harder, all the apps and virtual systems, different values, lack of working force due to aging population, and nevertheless, stronger climate change consequences. It sounds pretty chaotic. At the first and also the last partner meeting that happened in live, unfortunately, I presented this slide. So the only constant is change in nature, in human and technology. And there is no doubt that this is 100% true. Talentjourney team is inspired by technology trends. Our approach is user centricity, user-friendly and environment-friendly. Our principles are co-creation with users, strong partnership, we test locally and scale internationally. And we create an ecosystem that benefits all, the learners, teachers, industry experts, and other VET stakeholders. After numerous workshops, discussions, and interviews with users, learners, teachers, industry experts, leadership, and researchers, we have reached our first, I could say, milestone. We have identified a new era learner, which has become now a lifelong learner. We could say there are 3 packages of characteristics what the new era learner should possess, the output of the VET school of the future. First, according to all changes, she or he needs to be adaptable, agile, and innovative. Second, according to all changes happening in the society and regarding the climate, the learner will need to act as responsible and active citizen. And third, the learner will need to gain professional skills, broader knowledge and skills in a certain field, basics, as well as transversal skills such as green, digital, entrepreneurial, further also functional and personal skills. All specific skills from the industry will need to be gained through hands-on approach due to constant change. It's a kind of competence framework. Based on all our findings, we designed the process for holistic experience of IoT lifelong learner. It's a flexible framework that can be our main guide, no matter what will change in the industry, society, or our environment. The framework of our IoT platform will enable the VET provision that will support and shape the new era learner with all before listed characteristics. It's about discovering what is happening around us, what are the needs, and what the learner would like to do according to their potentials. About having choice to develop the potentials through the courses that will help the learner grow. About personal approach to individual, if you want to stimulate the best of each learner. About having someone who is going to be your guide, a role model for your life and work, a mentor and a tutor. About looking for innovative solutions through working on real life cases, hands-on, since we need to learn by doing on everyday examples to keep pace, to become agile, adaptable, and responsive. It's about searching job opportunities and enabling company match to the learner, about international experience, which is very important, especially now when we are talking about digitalized work and the climate change, which has become the priority #1 to solve. And finally, it's about digital IoT library, where the learner will find all sorts of digitalized learning materials and other IoT resources. We have just piloted the framework in the frame of transnational joint curricula with active collaboration of industry experts. As far as I could observe, the whole process, it was very valuable and very unique experience for all included users. The user feedback and the evaluation will still follow. The framework will be introduced step by step to national curricula and transnational through common annual timeframe. Through the second project year, we have also achieved the second milestone when our next step was getting clear. We have expanded the partnership of Talentjourney platform since our intention is to spread the Talentjourney expertise further and learn from each other regionally, European, and even worldwide. We will continue testing and piloting the holistic experience, learn from it, act agile, and constantly improve. We will disseminate further to other VET providers and stakeholders on our example called the Talentjourney adoption model based on holistic experience inside the partner countries, in other EU countries and worldwide. We have connected worldwide to exchange our expertise and keep pace at global level. We want to transfer the field of IoT and its related fields with synergy fields and make it even more connected with the sustainability aspects. The Talentjourney platform will be supported by constant content update and expansion of new network of people who will work and collaborate in our platform. But to achieve these so important 2 milestones, there were so many important activities happening in the backstage and the front stage in the 2 years of the project, definitely too short time. And here are actually just listed our results. I will not read them loud because very shortly, my Talentjourney colleagues, who were all perfect co-workers, put so much effort, enthusiasm, and willingness to realize these results, and will be presented in the following part of the conference in details, before concluding with very practical, innovative, and fantastic solutions for everyday life developed through COVE Hackathon. Before concluding, I would like to share with you some important challenges we need to face it in a very short time in order to enable the responsive and user-centered VET provision. There is a big need to establish very flexible structure of educational programs, which will enable constant updating of the contents and the use of innovative learning, teaching, and organizational approaches. A big need by labor market for interdisciplinarity and for discussion about basics or common basic of professional fields. Today, labor market skills is skills oriented. Therefore, the recognition of skills should be reconsidered. We need simplification of the system, not bureaucracy and complicated processes. We need to create a space for professional development for the new role and knowledge of teacher. There is a big need to approach holistically to all processes, to learning, to teaching, partnership, and governance. And we need new ways of collaboration with employers, especially from the learner's perspective. And now, let me conclude with a simple and really a big thank you from all my heart to all that I have, to those people that have made the story of launching the Talentjourney platform real, innovative, successful, and brought it to the excellence. Learners, teachers, headmasters, directors, all that had contributed and collaborated the whole 2 years. European Commission and their representatives, Mr. João Santos, who inspired us with all his belief in the better future through vocational excellence. Mr. Pavel Krempaski, who was always there to support and believe in us. To amazing industry experts who shared with us their enthusiasm, expertise, and willingness to launch the transformation of VET system into new era VET. They stayed with us through the whole project, and in spite of their whole day work overload, they always find time to innovate, design, and create with us. Thank you to Catapult and its great and enthusiastic experts for their active and great involvement in Hackathon. The main company sponsors, especially Geni, to all Hackathon participants, mentors, and experts, to Mr. Ernei Chesen, the today keynote speaker in the final part, and to other COVE pioneers. And finally, to my dearest partners and fighters, who are a great team of experts that didn't give up in spite of very demanding goals and objectives we have set. And I hope I will have the honor to continue our Talentjourney vision and mission in such an amazing team of creative people who have inspired me through the whole project, and I have learned from them so many valuable things I use and I will continue using them. These are partners and people from Šolski Center Kranj from Slovenia, Šolski Center Velenje from Slovenia, CPI, Center for Vocational National Institute for Vet from Ljubljana, Slovenia, Male Company from Slovenia, Sataedu from Finland, SAMK from Finland, Tallinn Polytechnicum from Estonia, Elfitech from Germany, Ecipa and Isis Malignani from Italy, PARC from Germany, and Estonian Electronics Industries Association from Estonia. And the last, to my closest co-workers, to Tjasa, to Patricia, to Uroš, Luka, and Miran, who are always there supporting me and do amazing work. So thank you. And the last word is mine at the end of Talentjourney project, but the beginning of something big and important.
Diana, thank you very much. We are all honored to be in this story together, and we really hope to go on with the next chapter. But let's continue. And now I'm kindly inviting Ms. Madeleine Langlois from the IFITech organization to present the skills research. Please, Madeleine.
Thank you, Tasha, and thanks, Adriana, for the really great introduction. I think it's really impressive what we've done over the past years. And yeah, I'll briefly take some time today to share what we've been doing specifically within the project, which is essentially providing some background, setting the stage for why we need this transnational vocational education curricula. And also to explain some findings that we've had through our skills data collection research through a series of interviews with companies and vet and universities and other stakeholders in Talentjourney, as well as desk research. And essentially this is kind of setting the stage, as I said, for why we need this transnational curricula, why we need the transnational cooperation. So if I can find here we go. So how we've done this is through a series of reports, and that eventually fed into what we've created, which is called the Transnational Steering Group, Talentjourney Transnational Steering Group. And essentially what we were looking at in our reports were, okay, why do we need this transnational curricula? And then we went into establishing a detailed methodology for how to form a transnational curricula, and also how to implement this in the end. So basically our first report was really making clear that yes, significant change is needed in the manufacturing sector, the smart manufacturing sector. So learners will need to apply these skills. We've identified certain skills gaps, what was already mentioned in the introduction, such as aging workforce or need for green skills due to climate change, or just general trend towards digitization. This was all elaborated upon in our first initial reports. And then again, we went on to creating a detailed methodology for, okay, how are we going to get this data on a transnational level, and how there's going to be some sort of uniform data that we're collecting. We also looked towards some points that have been established by what's expected of COVES, centers for vocational excellence, centers of vocational excellence, and what we need to do to make sure that this is all up to date data and sustainable data, not just now, but in the future. And then also, finally, we went into, okay, how will this be implemented? What is the transnational steering group, and how will this support in the implementation of the transnational joint curriculum? So just a little background, this is a dense slide, and I will keep it short, but basically, why are we doing this? Well, essentially, it's because there's a need for this. There's major skills gaps in the area of manufacturing, and specifically smart manufacturing. The manufacturing industry accounts for 12 million enterprises, 33 million jobs in Europe, and 16% of Europe's GDP. And then also simultaneously, there's 3.4 million job openings in the fields of STEM. So essentially manufacturing and IoT or IoT, smart manufacturing is a field that is developing at an accelerated rate year to year. And there's current skills gaps and skills shortages in this area. and they're going to only be increasing. So there's definitely a need for this establishment of a joint curricula to address this, because we need to reflect this in our education and training of our workers. And meanwhile, our centers of vocational excellence are developing into an important component of general European vet policy, and there is clearly a need to address or future-proof our workers by preparing them to have robot-proof skills, and also making sure that they have meta skills in place and green skills in place that is needed for these general trends that we're leading towards. And educational institutions, vet, as well as higher education institutions, need to adopt effective skills anticipation systems to provide accurate real-time labor market intelligence, making sure that everything is industry-led, and that these educational programs are ensuring that the learners are going to be able to have a job after their training. So this is a lot of work that we've conducted within the project, thanks to the help of all of the partners conducting their interviews and helping with the data collection in general. But what we found through our data collection is that there's a need for a transnational steering group. Within Talentjourney, we've piloted this essentially, and we've tested it just within our 4 pilot partners countries. But this is essentially the goal of this was to create a sort of strategy that can be adopted elsewhere, and to build capacity beyond this model, so across Europe and beyond. So I will just go into briefly what the transnational steering group is, this model that we've created within Talentjourney. There's essentially this sort of umbrella overarching strategy level, the strategic level of the transnational steering group, and that is broken down into these regional makers groups or regional stakeholders groups. So this is the operational level, and at the operational level there is collaboration between vets, there's collaboration between vet industry, and also government, are making sure this is all in compliance with local policy. And at the center of this, of course, is the learner, and making sure that the learner is essentially getting an education that will equip them with the skills to have jobs of the future. And just going back to the strategic level of the transnational steering group, we had our pilot partners in Slovenia and Italy and Estonia and Finland test out, okay, what sort of KPIs, what sort of key performance indicators are we looking for in creating a joint curricula, or which will feed into, or which will support also a platform of skills. What sort of skills gaps have we found? Also, what sort of databases are we going to be using to make sure that our vet programs are up to date, and making sure that there's this sort of transnational understanding of what's required, that they're adhering to what the European Commission is putting out in terms of what's necessary for vet, and what sort of skills gaps are in place. So in the very beginning of developing this sort of transnational steering group, there needs to be a strong governance put in place. How often are you going to meet? You know, where, again, I've already mentioned, which databases are you going to be using? So we've also identified some of these databases through our reports as well. And yeah, who are you going to be working with? In this case, as I said, in our model, it's with the 4 Talentjourney pilot partners, but this essentially is to serve as a strategy that can be rolled out and built further. So what is in your region, what specific vet centers and universities, what specific companies and what specific government agencies are you addressing, to make sure that there is this strong collaboration of people working together to essentially equip the future workers with relevant skills that is needed by the manufacturing labor markets. And this is only possible through, again, what Adriana had touched upon in her introduction, a lifelong learning approach, and making sure that there's a constant flow of information between industry and education. And finally, just being conscious of time, that the point is that Talentjourney is moving towards COPE, like the Talentjourney is moving in the direction of establishing a digital skills anticipation system built upon a common set of KPIs and databases, which can directly feed the Talentjourney platform beyond the project lifetime, further building capacity through API connections, real-time data, making sure that all the data is up to speed. And the point is to equip people, the right people with the right skills at the right time, making sure that everything is industry-led. And so, yes, again, being conscious of time, that's basically what we've done in the project in terms of our research. And thank you all, especially to our Talentjourney pilot partners for their cooperation in this process. And if you would like to reach out to us, here's our contact information. You can send us an email, and also our reports are available on our website. Thank you.
Madeline, thank you very much. Now I'm inviting our colleagues from Finland, I believe Peter Virtanen and Anja Poberznik from Santa Kunta University of Applied Sciences, will present how they carry out the part concerning the professional development.
Hello. I would like somebody to share our presentation.
Yeah.
While still resolving the threat for them, hitting me. God, if that had missed, by the way, I don't even know. Let's just not talk about that. I mean, the way this game's going, am I just going to be fireballing on 4?
I hear some sounds.
Uros, there is some voice coming up from the background. Some game.
Okay, seems better now. So hello, everybody. My name is Anja Poberznik, and I will present to you the work package 3, so professional development for modern vet teachers, vet leadership, and company trainers and experts. Next slide, please. Okay, so work package 3 had 4 main activities, but maybe the one that is most visible to the greater public would be the trainings that we have implemented as part of work package 3. And in addition to that, also a business model on sustainable and continuous professional development. Next slide, please. So what we did was we determined the training topics, and also we got the experts who executed those trainings. And in total, we had 11 trainings, including 3 master trainings that were executed between December 2020 and May 2021. So you can see those trainings here on the table. Next slide, please. And those were the masterclass trainings. So all the trainings try to incorporate different innovative teaching methods. And next slide, please. And after each successfully attended or participated training, the participants received a certificate. And this is an example of a layout of a certificate that was issued to all the participants. And next slide, please. There were also quite many issues that we encountered during the implementation and preparation of these trainings. And some of these issues served as lessons learned, and they were also used in the business model that my colleague Peter will present later on. So some of the issues were the following. We noticed that it's really important that we market the trainings in a timely manner, and that we have a good communication between all involved stakeholders. So meaning the organizers of the trainings, the executors of the trainings, or the trainers themselves, and also among all project partners. Another thing was that sometimes there were no sufficient numbers of participants, which affected the training implementation. So for example, if the trainer planned to have group work, they needed enough participants to be able to divide them into groups. And what we noticed was that sometimes those number of participants were not sufficient for that, or they were high at the beginning and they started dropping as the trainings progressed. Related to that was also how to motivate the participants to attend further trainings, which we thought was challenging. Many of our trainings were consisting of 2 or 3 sessions for each training. And sometimes it happened that we had a higher number of participants on the first session, but that dropped at the next session. Or then the participants might have registered to the training, but didn't show up. So these were some of the issues that we noticed. And as I mentioned, the trainings try to incorporate different innovative approaches in teaching and methods and tools used. We, as learners, we are different. We are a heterogeneous group, so we learn in a different way. So the balance of how many innovative approaches and innovative methods are incorporated or involved in one training, that can be sometimes challenging. So finding that right amount of what innovative methods you used in one training, that seemed to be an issue sometimes. So as I mentioned, these lessons that we learned, there were many more, but I'm just presenting a few of them. Those we later on used in creating the business model, which my colleague Peter Vertanen will present next. Next slide.
Yeah, thank you, Anja. Uros, you can now stop sharing that. Okay, can you see my screen now through my webcam? I'm
Not
using
yet.
No.
You can't see my.
Yeah.
Okay, now yes.
Okay, now you can. Okay, good. So I'm going to present our training guide, and hopefully my voice is, you can hear me well. So we created also a training guide, which was also our job, of course. And this is how you can make such a training that we created. And we learned a lot during the process. And first thing, this like, of course, you will do it like this, but this is kind of a guide that maybe you should follow if you want to create such training. So contact your training provider. It can be from your institution, or you can also get somebody from some company, as we got one company that was called Vapis, and we set the training dates. They have a tight schedule, so we have to do the scheduling with them. We just can't make some dates because the companies don't behave like that they just come there. It has to follow their schedule. Then we start to create training material. If the company is creating the whole material, of course, they can solely make the training material, but we made our own material, and Vapis created their own. So at this point, the material should be created if it's not done yet. Then the trainer creates assignment questions. Probably you don't know about that profession that much as a teacher. That company knows better how to create that questions to that assignments. Then the setting pre-requirements for the this training is also important, because if you think about, like, if we would have a programming training, if it would be basic, all can participate in that, but if it would be like advanced training, it would be really hard or impossible the participant to participate there if one doesn't have enough information how programming at all works. Then we have these assignment questions already ready. So we should next create online assignment, then set up online registration. We have used Eventbrite in our project, but you can use any working platform as you want. and then start creating marketing material. It's not enough that you just create a registration form. You have to create also marketing material to market your training. There are a lot of trainings out there, so it has to pop up as a different, and good training marketing material will help in that. Also set up the training date or marketing date. If some training will be like in November, set the marketing date just before, so there's enough time to participate in that. And with the company that may help you in this training, set the marketing date with them. Then hopefully you will collect a lot of registrants there to participate this training, also perform the training, and publish the online assignment in this point. You can also have midterm assignments. That's a good way to kind of figure out is anyone even understanding a thing about your training, and then collect feedback, which is the most important part to kind of enhance your trainings in the future. Then distribute digital certificates. Then we have this kind of a guideline what to favor in your trainings. Of course, we all know books. Still, you should probably season your training with books, but also have a podcasts, slideshows, videos, and a good-looking graphics or something like that, because you need all these things, not just one. It's not enough that you are just showing your face and a video. You could, as I said, season your training with slideshows and other kind of a nice looking things there to make it more appealing. Avoid these, as probably everybody have noticed that poor audio quality in a presentation is a big no-no. So try to make sure that your presentation won't be like with the poor quality video and audio. Those are most important things. Also, don't use like outdated material, and please use webcam also, that they know that who is talking to them. Then I'm going to hurry up, that I'm getting the last slide. So, and then when you are creating trainings, whatever the field are you using, like IIoT here, you have to know what's happening in the IIoT field. It's not enough that you just know what you do. You have to know what's happening on the field. Then you are going to have a training. Then you are going to have a feedback from the learners. And then you are going to have a new training according to that feedback. And again, you can check out what's happening on the field. This says like you don't have to every time update your material, but it's like a circle that you have to pretty often update your material. What's the most important part is this for here, always provide kind of an education that profits your learner, not you, not your institution. You have to think it like how it will provide that needed education for your learner. It's not just teaching because of fun of teaching. It's because the learner has to learn. There is some specifications of our platform, but I'm running out of time, so I'm not going through that any better. But yeah, I'm going to this last slide that reads KFC in the bottom. It's not that company, but it's still the same. So knowledge transfer means K, feedback, and currently most needed skills in the labor market. So we have to figure out how to transfer knowledge. There is a lot of knowledge out there, but how to transfer it to the learner. Learner can give feedback, how well it did, how up to date your material is. even learners to have some knowledge of certain field. And the companies have the latest knowledge of the labor market, what they really need in their field. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, very much. And thank you, Anja. Now we have a short break. We'll be back in 10, so enjoy your break. Hello again. Our coffee break has come to the end. So I hope you are still all with us and we are on time. So let's start. With the second part. Let's continue with our conference. In the first part, our partners presented what were the first stages of the project. First, we have made a skills need research through the desktop research, and more than 40 interviews with the companies from Estonia, Italy, Slovenia, and Finland. How we integrated the findings of the research will be presented now by Jari. Additionally, we have started to train the trainers and teachers to be able to implement the transnational curricula on the specific professional fields identified in the skills research, which will be now presented by, as I already said, Jari Pentimaki, a teacher from the school center of Sata Edu from Finland. He will give us a review of our path in the developing the joint curricula and the lifelong trainings and the piloting. So Jari, the floor is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you, Tasa. I'm happy to be here. And let me start sharing my screen. So hope everything works. Let's put it on. I hope you are seeing it. So, but without any hesitation, I would like to represent you that how we actually made this all information and the task we were given, that how we actually made the transnational joint curricula. And it's in the field of CDS, it's connectivity of devices and services. And this IoT or industrial Internet of Things in smart manufacturing. So basically, well, let's go to the beginning. So you will see that how we ended up here. And you can actually see here our roadmap, or should I say space map. This is how our process proceeded. So let's go for the beginning where everything started. So there was made and designed a company questionnaire, and we had a clear task, and the task was to define skill needs, gaps, and shortages. And where from to find this kind of information? It was basically from the companies. So we conducted with the help of our partners in-person interviews in 5 partner countries. So we had Estonia, Finland, Germany, Italy, and Slovenia. So I mean, and the companies, they were from a small and mid-size, I mean medium enterprises, and the big global companies with almost 80,000 employees. And inside of this stage, we conducted 41 interviews with the different companies and with the company experts and everything was done in cooperation with the industry. So let's get back to the, not the Milky Way, but I was going to say that when we were making the interviews, we got the information what was designed to, and we also got this so-called grassroots information, which came from the factory floor, and it's all in the results. So it's quite fascinating. Oh, let's get back to our stepping stones. So our next stop was basically the analyzing the answers. So we received approximately 500 pages of a raw data and the answers and the information. And this is basically something that I want to add to the Madeline's part, that we decided these 5 topics from the program. According the skill needs research that was conducted and the results that the Madeline and her team with Chris, they made the results. And from those results, we chose the 5 most important topics that was chosen to the curricula. And I'd say that these are the biggest concerns that were which raised from the company answers. So, for example, the cybersecurity in the last years, it's been growing, the concern that when all the data has been placed to different cloud services, it's quite easy to break in and get the data that should be protected, or there are plenty of examples from the global market that what can be done if the cybersecurity isn't okay. But in the eyes of these topics, there is also this production process development, and it's actually quite an important thing, since there are plenty of information available from the cloud services. So the companies, they need people who are basically planning the applications, that how they can use the data. What kind of applications they can done, that they can have. And the data science, it's how to use the data, how to make the information out from the big data. And then there are these very interesting technical solutions like artificial intelligence and augmented reality. And there was, of course, this robotics engineering. It was the 5th that we chose. These are basically the topics that got most hits from the answers. And once we had these all 5, we actually call these modules, since these were made as modules. So what we did with these 5 modules, we basically shared them with for our partners. So we actually made the EQF 4 level with the 3 years level. It was every module received EQF 4 level with the 3 years, EQF 4 years, and the EQF 5 where it was possible. So that was how this was formed. So we had 5 clear skill needs, and that was what we started to go after. And there was also in the same questionnaire, we were asking different green skills, soft skills, and key competencies. So they are actually, I mean, for example, the student, I mean, he will need to understand, for example, how his actions affect, for example, to a sustainability. So what kind of choices we can do and that way protect the nature. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to our stepping stones. Yeah, and from here we shall go to how we divided and how did we share the workload. So we made a division for our web providers and for our professionals and business corporations, that how we should proceed with our modules. So this is something that actually started almost 2 years ago, as Adriana stated earlier. And to be quite honest, I mean, we were in the brink of COVID when this job started. And I mean, we haven't seen face-to-face, but we have had tens and tens of different online meetings. We have tens of Teams, Zooms, Miros, and several other applications that we have been using. And the administration of this kind of a big consortium has been quite challenging, but it's been also very rewarding, since, I mean, we were able to produce 17 modules for the joint curriculum. And in the meantime, we produced 19 lifelong learnings. And the lifelong learnings, that basically means a short trainings. They can be from 4 hours to 2 days. And they are actually quite fascinating. I mean, we can have, for example, lections or a real world rehearsals that can be conducted. And we also produced 12 professional trainings, and these trainings they can be, I mean, we already have, for example, webinars with visitors from companies or industrial experts, providing the latest information and trends from the field of IIoT. Yep, and as mentioned, there are these green skills and soft skills. They are included in the modules. And basically the one very challenging part was that we actually needed to create a new content that will meet the current needs of the industry and the future needs. That was something that really gave us plenty of work, but with the help of our associates, with the companies, I believe that we made it. Okay, so let's get back to the stepping stones and let's see the piloting part. So this was also a very interesting part that we were able to work with. So I will let you see these videos. In the meantime, I keep talking, so you can watch the videos, but that's not the main point. But you can see that we have been actually piloting, and actually this is quite a new information from today, that we actually had 365 students participating the pilotings overall. So I'm very happy for this account. So many students were able to participate. And let's say that we wanted, how we wanted to make this pilot was that actually we only gave a task to conduct piloting, because we didn't want to restrict the pilotings in any way, because we thought that this would also work as a learning event for us as a partners, and we would be able that what works and what does not work. So I believe that we learned something from the pilotings. I believe so. Yeah, so the piloting, it was all about learning for all of us web providers also. And we had a cross participation with the learners, with the students. So the students were able to compare that how the things are done in Finland and how they are done, for example, in Slovenia or Italy. That was quite interesting to see. And many of the pilots, they were mainly observing duties for the students. So they were not, let's say, participating all the time. But there were, of course, workshops where they were problem-solving skills they used, and they had actually problems to be solved. So they were quite, let's say, thrilled to see that how things are done in different countries. Yes. Let's see. I'm not forgetting anything. Okay. So, but yeah, here are a few pictures. I wasn't able to put pictures from every piloting, so I made some pictures from the robotics piloting, and some video was embedded inside. So they were very nice videos. Okay, so let's get back to the stepping stones and let's get to the slide, which is the joint curricula. So this is basically that we were all working very hard. I mean, there are so many times that we have been talking this with online that I'm not sure can I calculate that far, but so the main thing was that we produced whole new models. There are not much anything old left. So we basically made everything from the ashes. And what this will be in the future, so this will be the foundation for all the mobilities, the Talentjourney platform, and for the future ecosystem of IIoT. And actually, we have 81 pages in the curricula. I will give you a big view from the content. And as mentioned, it's got the 17 modules. But now when the joint curricula is done, so it's basically the framework. Now the next thing is that the content, I mean, we will need to update it whenever it's necessary. And what kind of anticipating tools we will be using, that is something that need to be decided. Madeleine Doe showed us the national steering group. Will that be the tool, or what tool will be used? That's something that we really need to still think about. But I can show you quickly this, because here is something that, here is this, I mean, this is the content slide, as you can see. It will start with the key competencies, including the soft skills and green skills. But here is one module that that any company survey did not brought us. I mean, it's the IIoT holistic view. But this is basically something that we will need to have the students go through before they are able to dive in the world of IIoT, because they will need to understand the principles of IIoT. And there are also these prerequisites that they will need to know before attending this course. So this is the only module that was made so that the students can go through this course, I mean this whole curriculum. And here is, I shall show you the last slide. This is probably visually the most boring slide, but it's got a very strong content. I mean, this is the slide which has some summarizing from this whole project so far. So I shall pick the most important ones. So I will need to say that this face-to-face challenge, this was actually quite challenging since the COVID restrictions. So everything needed to be done online. I mean, at least in my experience, many things are much easier to talk and to understand things much better when you are facing your partner. In my opinion, it's much more easier. So when we are doing everything online, it's very hard to be able to continue without any misunderstandings, for example. So that was something that needed quite a lot of work. And of course, the long building times, it interferes the students' weekly planning. That was something that gave us some challenges. But let's say that we were also lucky to have some adult learners, so we could make it to the goal, to be sure. I mean, here are many things, but my time is basically running out. So the main thing, focus on end user. That's the most important thing. And I have used my 20 minutes. I had something to say, but yeah, you are welcome, Jasa.
Jari, thank you very much for this very comprehensive and elaborated presentation. But now we are moving to Germany. Mr. Franz Josiase, director of the Park Company, will present the huge work they have done for developing the Talentjourney platform service blueprint. Franz, are you ready?
I'm ready. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much. And a warm welcome to all participants this afternoon, the special guests, and all the partners that we have intensively worked with together over the last many months. And a warm welcome from sunny Hamburg in the north of Germany, indeed. I'm going to use the next 13 minutes or so to share with you the deliverables of work package 5, with the kind of the final deliverable is that the service blueprint, a service blueprint for Talentjourney, for the platform, as a service blueprint of the ones who have maybe not seen one before, is an important tool to optimize service operations, to position services, and also to structure services. And we see Talentjourney as a service. We like to see this as a service to the customer. And as we are having applied design thinking methodology in our approach of work package 5, we see as the main customer the learner. So everything you will see have started with the lens through the eyes of the learners. Of course, we have also included other stakeholders in our work stream. So let me just show you very shortly the deliverables. First of all, we started to explore. And again, as many other partners said today, we interviewed, of course, learners, we interviewed partners, companies, web providers, etc., to understand better the needs for the different stakeholders in the Talentjourney. From there, we developed personas. We developed personas, again, for learners, family, tutors, web providers, companies, and those personas were later used also in the service blueprint From there, we developed ecosystem maps. Ecosystem maps are used to show the relationships, to show the stakeholders, to show the enablers for the Talentjourney platform, and also the value network. What is the value that the different stakeholders in the Talentjourney platform are going to deliver to each other to make the Talentjourney platform successful? And we then started to sketch those EU ecosystem maps, which is a consolidation of the local eco maps that we concluded into all the commonalities between the ecosystems. That is all important input for finally the service blueprint. But before that, the main input for the service blueprint are the learner journeys, together with all the partners. Again, as you heard before, we had many workshops together where we looked into a learner, but also a lifelong learner. So we looked at, let's say, a young learner, but also a lifelong learner. What are the different steps they go through when they are orienting themselves on any education, whether they're applying for the education, whether they are doing the education, whether they are satisfied, whether they are getting to a company or doing an internship or getting a job later, and of course, getting back to any new curriculum that maybe could be of interest for them. That were the steps that were all executed and important input insights that we used to create the service blueprint. I am now going to another mirror board because it will take otherwise some time to build. So what you are seeing now is a very complex graph. And let me first, in general, explain you what it is. A service blueprint is a very structured way to look at two things. First of all, to the journey of a learner and the phases they go through, from discovery Talentjourney to enrolling in Talentjourney, to learning with Talentjourney, to concluding Talentjourney, and transitioning from Talentjourney to companies. So that are the main phases, and I will just zoom in one phase in discovery, because what have we done? Together with all the partners here, we have brainstormed around the user actions. What are all the actions that a learner will do in discovering Talentjourney? From recommendation, maybe from parents or other students, to orienting them digitally. Maybe some schools do an event where they can apply. They collect further information. That can be brochures, it can be digital, of course, to taking the decision and getting some feedback on that process. So you see that all these different phases have been very much detailed. That is one dimension of the service blueprint. The other dimension are the stages. And there we have the front stage of any service. That is all the elements of a service blueprint that, in this case, the learner sees. So these are all the touch points between the learner and the school, between the learner and maybe other students, between the learner and the tutors and all the other stakeholders. Yeah? So we identified all these touch points, and also we identified who at the front stage are these actors who deliver the service between the learner and the school, between the learner and the tutor, etc. Then there is an as much as possible important element in any service that normally the user of a service does not see, which is the backstage. That can be, again, a service actor, that can be a touch point, that can be systems. So a lot of IT today runs on service platforms, and it can be all kind of policies in the EU that are needed to make the Talentjourney platform work in the future. And then, of course, we checked all the touch points and all the journeys of the learner in the future against the insights we created earlier in all the interviews, in the learner journeys, and we saw, are there any questions raising coming from those insights? Are there any frictions that we have to solve in this service blueprint? So again, what you see here is a blueprint. This is a fundament that you can start to use to build the Talentjourney platform on a European level, and it will include many of the other findings that we've seen from the other work packages today. Just to go back to our final deliverable, which is the, let's say, Talentjourney next step. So if we want to further develop this blueprint, service blueprint, into something that is on a European level getting operational, we made a plan for the next years. A service blueprint, as for Talentjourney, is very complex. Many stakeholders are involved, many regulations, a lot of technology behind it to make it work. So it will be a step-by-step approach. And it does not mean that we have to wait 6 years before it works. We can start to work with it actually already today. But we need to consolidate the organization around the service blueprint. We need to consolidate all the administrative processes. Of course, communication is key, where a website, but also other kind of communications will be very important. Social media, as of course, modern learners are, let's say, maybe 12 hours a day in social media, very important for the future. Platform offerings, the curriculums, etc., have to be further developed and put into the platform. And then, of course, not to forget all the technical systems and the platform features have to be further developed, of which one I want to highlight is, of course, user feedback. Any service blueprint is as good as that the users of a service can give feedback to the system. So this is a very critical part. As we heard before, we really have to think customer-centric, and in this case, the learner. So we have to build in feedback systems that all the services we are going to provide through the service platform can be updated and adjusted to future needs all the time. So this gave hopefully a good overview of Work Package 5 and the exploration and define and consolidation phase. We loved it to work together with all the partners without all their input and also, of course, involvement of learners. We have worked a lot of times during the process with the learners, not only in interviews, but also in creating the service platform and got their feedback. Yeah, that was really interesting and also very good to hear from, let's say, first-hand insights from learners, how they are looking to the Talentjourney and where they see the value of this Talentjourney platform. And for sure, the overall feedback has been very, very positive. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Franz, very much for giving us this insight to your really huge work. And now the last presentation of the first part, the Talentjourney digital platform, where all the information, material, news, events, webinars, etc. are available. Mr. Igor Doler from the School Center of Velenia is presenting the platform. Igor, please.
Thank you very much. I think you are already seeing my screen. Okay, so the platform is connecting individuals and the community. As much as the pandemic isolated us as individuals on the global scale, people have looked to connect with each other to find solutions, share ideas as we face the common challenge. This last years have brought everyone together, allowed us for exchange of ideas, policies, practices, assessments across boundaries. For teachers, human connections and interactions are at the heart of education. At this time, it's become clear that the role of the teacher in the school community is irreplaceable. For the industry, the companies, the experts, to co-create their future co-workers, upskilling their experts through sharing and teamwork. For technological advancements, as educators and leaders create, design, and imagine the future, technology should be used in service of that vision. As technology becomes a major part of how we communicate and share ideas, we need to think about how to use technology strategically. Technology should always be used in the service of our purpose and interest. Our values and purposes and goals need to lead the way, not the technology. Connecting educational institutions to the IoT industry with the learner in the center of development. The main platform outputs are the data collection on skills needs, which you will find under mentorship. Then the transnational curricula and lifelong learning developments, which you will find under learning. Then we have trainings for professional developments of trainers, teachers, tutors, leadership, masterclass trainings under learning. Let me just quickly show you what we have gathered so far. So the website, the platform is under constant development. This is not an ending job. This is a constant upscaling, constant building. Then we have the library, which will give us articles and webinars on the theme of IoT. So this is very short introduction to what all of my previous speakers have already said, which has to be implemented and is implemented in the platform. Now, big job awaits us to keep this platform living and continue our mission. So please feel free to connect with us through the platform and become a co-creator of content and our common future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Igor, for your words. That basically concludes the first part of today's conference. I would like to invite Adriana again for some closing words.
Thank you, Tjasa, and thank you all the partners for the great presentations. I would just like to go a little bit step back, actually, how to connect all these things that you have seen, that you have been able to see today. So it's about Talentjourney platform. It's about the network of partners that wants to offer really, I would say, the services or the education and training to the new era lifelong learners, so young and adult students. So as you could see at the beginning, first of all, we really needed to see what is happening at the labor market. That's why, as Jari, as Madeline presented, we needed to do the skills needs research. Out of this, we got the first information, what is happening in the field of IoT and also further digital professional fields. And that was the background, actually, that we started to prepare teachers teachers and trainers who are going to implement these contents in the courses that were then further developed. So while the teachers and trainers were prepared for these contents and how to use also the innovative approaches, we started to design and develop the courses that were presented today by Jari. And all these courses were not only, as Jari said, the skills, the professional skills were integrated, but also the green skills and the meta skills, which are today very, very important. What you were able, maybe we didn't mention today that much, the demo labs. The demo labs, which are still under construction and are going to be established very, very soon. It's about demo labs in the fields where these specific professional fields were developed. For example, in Sata Edu, there is going to be a demo lab for robotics. The same is going to be in School Center Velenia and in Isis Malignani in Italy. In Kran, there will be the demo lab for data science and process production development, whereas at School Center Nova Gorica, there is going to be a demo lab for AI and cybersecurity. It means that if you will be actually eager to see what is happening, what kind of expertise we can share, whether online or offline, you are kindly welcome to visit our demo labs to see what is happening, what are the trends in the specific fields where we actually created all the courses, the programs, and also other activities. What was presented then further in the work package 5 presented by France is actually how did we came to the idea, how can we implement the programs, how can we approach to use really this user centricity, and that we will really prepare the new era learner who will be able to answer to the new era labor market demands. So that's why we needed to make really a lot of interviews and conversations and discussions with all these users who actually gave us the directions where to go, how to prepare the programs, how to approach when delivering provision. And the service blueprint is actually, Franz, correct me if I'm wrong, it's actually the background for the digital, I mean, for the offline, but also for the digital talent journey platform, which was presented actually by Igor Doler. Because the service blueprint, it shows all actions in the backstage and front stage, how each partner will participate in talent journey platform and how each partner is going to support the learner, whether online, offline, national, regional, or international. And please do, now we still have some time, I mean, in the following weeks, when we are going to fill the contents on the digital platform, which we are going to develop further into even more interactive digital platform. And we will start also really with very different events and courses and webinars. A lot of materials will be found as learning materials there. You will find there the pool of companies who offer the IoT expertise, the companies who offer on-the-job training for learners, teacher training, who are prepared to collaborate also in the frame of webinars, giving lectures to web providers, and much, much more. So I do hope that you got the big picture, what is happening in the talent journey platform, but it's a very complex thing, which is going to definitely be developed further to a more clear and more transparent big picture.
Thank you very much, Adriana, for your words and getting us a big picture of talent journey and a summary of a talent journey. Many thanks also from my side to all the participants for all your contributions and your attention. With this, we are concluding now this first part we have a short break and the conference continues with the IGES hackathon at 3 p.m. Central European time. Enjoy a break. Thank you again.